but every cell in his body felt like a crust of mud, and the pain gave no chance for normal movement. All around him, in this darkness, were others, people who had once been residents of the city. Now they were nothing more than shells, covered in black slime, with gaping wounds and twisted faces. They whispered words that sounded like tracks of decay, and it was the only reminder that they had once been human. Henri tried to figure out what was going on. This wasn't just a curse, it was something more, something that consumed not only bodies, but souls as well. They were all imprisoned in this world, a world of rot and decay from which there was no escape. He tried to stand up, but his body didn't seem to obey him. His feet stuck to the ground as if it were liquid and sticky, and the air grew thicker and more intolerable. "You can't leave." The voice was familiar, the sign of his fearsome figure, the one that had told him of the beginning. He knew now that she wasn't just a voice, she was part of this world, part of the rot. The voice was not human, but rather like the hoarse, deafening sound of decay. Out of the fog, among the black, decayed trees, dark figures resembling giant worms with human faces appeared. They moved slowly, but their movements were deadly precise. Their faces and bodies bore the same rotting shadow as the others, but in their eyes, there was something alive, eyes full of hatred and pain. "You will all be a part of us." The voice came again. "We will return. We've always been here. We've only been waiting." Henri realized it wasn't just a disease. It was an old evil lurking in the earth. These creatures, these monsters, were the descendants of those who once lived here. They had consumed everything. The rot was the result of a long-standing spell that had finally been released to reabsorb the land. Henri looked in despair at the other people, his former friends and patients, now dead. But what really struck him was that there was a figure among them who looked quite different from the others. It was the same farmer who had once been the first carrier of the disease. His face was covered in deep sores, but now it was radiating a strong energy. His eyes burned like fire, and his hands were covered in an obscurantist light. The farmer approached him, and his voice was full of obscurantist confidence. "You know now. You have chosen the path. We have all chosen. Now you are here, and you will be with us." Henri realized that his struggle for survival had been in vain. He was already part of this world. His soul already belonged to this curse. He was bound to it forever. It was then that his body became part of the rot. He felt his skin begin to peel away, his arms and legs become inanimate, but he could not scream. He was imprisoned in this horror, in this world where there would never be light, and where the rot would only grow. The world was already disappearing, and with it all hope was disappearing. And as the fog began to thicken and the worm-like figures began to crawl after them, they knew that their bodies and souls would never be saved again.